At dawn, I received a telegram from the man I personally hanged last evening.com. There were only 6 words on the tape, and each one hit like a rifle, but don't burn my hat. I'm alive. I read it twice, then a third time. My hand trembled not even from fear, but from the mind's refusal to accept this reality. Yesterday, I stood on the square in Fox Hollow. People shouted. Dust rose from boots. The rope creaked, and the man in the Noose Lucas banner looked straight at me as if he knew this still wasn't the end. I pulled the lever myself. I saw him jerk. I saw the doctor say done, and yet the telegraph tape still smelled of fresh ink. I locked the station door, flipped the sign to closed, and went where the dead aren't allowed. To the gallows. The square was empty. Only crows sat on the crossbeam, like guards over someone else's shame. The rope hung their butt. The noose had been neatly untied, and beneath it lay Lucas's hat. The same hat I'd ordered burned with his belongings so no one would drag a criminal's memory through the saloons. The hat was clean, dry, as if it hadn't been here at all last night. And then I noticed something else, comma. In the dirt at the base of the gallows, 2 setches. One, heavy men's boots. The other, thin, light. A woman's. I knew those tracks, and my heart dropped somewhere deeper than the earth, because only one woman in town walked like that. Abby Keller, the sheriff's wife. Te haga history. My name is Ethan Rowe. I'm the telegraph operator in Fox Hollow. I don't wear a star on my chest, and I don't sling a carbine on my back, but I have something more dangerous. Wires that connect the town to the world. And last night the world tried to speak to me in a dead voice. Lucas Banner was a bandit. At least, that's what Sheriff Harlan Keller said. Lucas supposedly robbed a mail coach and shot 2 guards. They caught him too fast, like someone already knew where he'd be. There was no time for a trial. The crowd wanted blood. The sheriff wanted order, and I wanted not to get involved. But that morning, when I saw a woman's footprints under the gallows, it became clear it was already involved in me. I went to the sheriff's house. The shutters were closed, though the sun was already up. No dog on the porch, no thump of life inside. Too quiet for a home with people in it. I knocked. No answer. I circled around and found the kitchen window open. The curtains stirred as if someone had passed through only moments ago. Inside it smelled of soap and iron. Not blood, not gunpowder. Iron like a blacksmith shop where locks are forged. I climbed in. On the table lay a strip of telegraph tape. My tape. Only I could have printed it. Beside it a torn piece of rope. And one more thing that dried my throat. A button from the sheriff's uniform, ripped off like in a fight. I heard steps upstairs, floorboards creaking. Someone was in the house. I went up the stairs, trying not to make a sound, as if silence could save me. The bedroom door was ajar. I pushed it and stopped. Abby Keller sat on the bed, hair loose, face pale. In her hands, the sheriff's revolver, the barrel pointed at the floor. But her finger rode the trigger like she was holding not a weapon, but the only thing keeping her from falling. Abby. I begun. She raised her eyes. In them was the exhaustion of someone who hadn't slept not for a night, but for a month. You saw the telegram, she said. Not a question. Yes. She nodded, like that was how it had to be. Then listen and don't interrupt, Ethan. Because if you walk out now, tomorrow you'll die on the square too. Cold tightened in my gut. Lucas is alive. Abby exhaled slowly. They didn't kill him. They swapped him. How? Harlan has a man. A doctor. A doctor. He can make someone die in front of a crowd and then wake up somewhere else. She glanced toward the window. as if the walls were listening. Harlan isn't a sheriff. Harlan is a merchant of fear. He sells people the feeling of safety, and for that, he needs But Lucas wasn't a bandit, she cut in softly. He was a courier. He carried a list of names the men who take money to protect caravans and then rob them themselves. That list could have destroyed Harlan. My palms went slick. And where is Lucas now? Abby gave a bitter smile. In the jail basement, under the old wing, where the town thinks is nothing. I wanted to ask, why are you telling me this? But the answer was in her eyes. She'd already made her choice. Now she needed someone to carry it to the end. Why not just leave? I asked. Abby slowly lifted the revolver. Not at me! At the door! Because Harlan doesn't let people leave. He buries the ones who try. And then the front door downstairs slammed. Heavy footsteps. A man's... Abby whispered. He's back. Sheriff Harlan Keller came up the stairs calmly, like a man who knows his house is under control. A smile on his face, gloves in his hand. Like he'd just done dirty work and didn't want to stain himself. Ether! He said. How sweet. Dropping by without an invitation. I forced my voice steady. I got a strange telegram. The sheriff's gaze slid to Abby. His smile thinned. Did you now? And from whom? Abby stood. Her revolver shook, but the barrel was already aimed at his chest. From the man you hanged, she said. The sheriff stopped. For a second, irritation flickered in his eyes. Then calm returned. You're playing truth again. Abby, he took a step forward. Put it down. You don't know how to shoot. And then Abby said the sentence that squeezed everything inside me tight. I do. I just never wanted to before. The sheriff smirked. Fine. Then let's make a deal, Hitanumi. Ethan, step out. This is family. I didn't move. The sheriff sighed like a grown man tired of children. Then, this. He tossed the gloves to the floor and I saw blood on his fingers. Last night, you saw tracks under the gallows, right? Women's. He smiled. That's because Abby helped me. She's a smart woman. She understands this town needs fear, or it falls apart. Abby went white. You're lying. The sheriff lifted his eyebrows. Am I? Then why is there dirt from the square on your boots? Abby looked down. And I saw it. Fresh soil on the sole. The sheriff continued gently. She helped me, and now she got scared. That happens? He turned back to me. Ethan, you want to be a hero? Then know this heroes die first. His hand moved fast, almost invisible, reaching for his holster. Abby fired. The blast hit the room like a hammer. The sheriff rocked, but didn't fall. The bullet grazed him, carving a bloody line along his ribs. He lifted his eyes to Abby and, for the first time, stopped smiling. That's it, he said quietly. Now, you signed your sentence. He raised his own revolver, and in that moment, I did the only thing I knew how to do. I lunged for the door and latched it. The sheriff fired. The bullet slammed into the wood beside my head. Abby grabbed my sleeve. To the jail. Now. We flew out the window, hit the dust, and ran through back streets where dogs sleep and no one asks questions. Behind us, the sheriff shouted, "Catch them!" And the town woke up. We reached the jail. The old basement door was locked, but Abby knew where the key was inside. The guard's boot. She took it so fast, it looked practiced. Down below it smelled of mold and cold. We found the cell. Lucas sat on the floor, bruises on his face, but alive. He looked up and whispered, "Finally, the list." Abby asked. Lucas smiled. "Bloody? It's all ready." "Not a list. I sent part of it by telegraph." I froze. How? I breathed. That's my key. Lucas looked at me. Exactly. And then I understood. The telegram? Don't burn my hat wasn't a plea. It was a test who was on the wire. Footsteps sounded above. The basement door shook. The sheriff was already here. Lucas pushed himself up, swaying. Ethan, he said quickly, you've got one shot to finish this. Your set has one line. The sheriff doesn't control the old military channel. Send everything there. Now, but I won't have time. Abby pressed the revolver into my hand. You will, she said. I'll hold him. Abby knew. She looked at me the way people look when they've already said goodbye. I've been silent too long. The basement door crashed open. Lantern light punched my face. The sheriff came down like a man descending into hell with confidence. What a lovely reunion, he said. Abby raised the revolver. Lucas stepped forward, shielding me, and I ran up toward the Telegraph. My fingers found the key. I didn't type words. I hammered out life, Dutchies, and somewhere in town gunfire drowned out my tapping. I sent everything I could. The sheriff's name, the doctor's name, the basement location, the words staged. Hangens, and at the end one sentence. If I go silent, it's true. The last dash was still vibrating when the telegraph office door flew open. The sheriff stepped in. Alone! No smile. Blood on his sleeve, baby. He walked to the table and looked at the tape. Then he raised his eyes to me. You made a mistake, Ethan. I swallowed. No. I made a choice. The sheriff lifted his pistol. And in that moment, from outside came a sound that didn't belong to Fox Hollow. The thunder of dozens of horses. Commands. Military voices. The sheriff froze. He understood the way only men who are used to being in charge understand. The wire outran the bullet. He fired anyway, but the shot went wide. Because I was already falling not from fear, from the sudden lightness of it all. The door burst open again. Men in uniform filled the threshold, and Sheriff Harlan Keller, for the first time in his life, raised his hands, and I heard someone outside say, There it is, the town where they hanged the dead.